Hi friends, I'm Sherry and thank you for joining me for Sherry's DIY Secrets. Today I'm joining the challenge of other DIYers in doing Christmas in July, and I'm going to be showing you a art project that you can do with your family to add a little decor once Christmas really kicks in. So without any further ado, let's get started. So for this particular project, you're going to need some apple ring candies. And I have some here, but I want to kind of caution you, these were a little difficult to find. And I've been doing this project for a few years now, and it's always been a challenge to find the apple ring candies. I did get this off of Amazon, and unfortunately, a lot of the product, as you can see, is melted and damaged. You are going to need the full ring in order to do this project. So I didn't really get my money's worth with this. So I don't know about working with this particular manufacturer again, because I just don't like the product. And one thing to be aware of is that this is a perishable item and there are no refunds. So I'm kind of out of the, I think it was $12 that I spent for this. In addition to the candy, you'll need some red ribbon. This is optional. You'll need stick pins, and then you'll have the option of using beads of any color or red hots. I used red hots in the past, and I liked the way that the end result looked. You're also going to need a knife and a cutting board because you will be cutting the apple rings in half. So for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and try to pull these rings apart. For 2.5 pounds of candy, I'm not getting a big result, but I'm trying to save as much of the candy as I possibly can. So let's hope for the best.
Don't forget to subscribe because there's more to come.
Okay, so sometimes when you DIY, you've got to be able to improvise. And I'm going to let you see how many rings I was able to save from the canister. And I molded some of them together. It was kind of like dealing with sticky Play-Doh. But I was able to save a bit, and I think we'll be able to get through the what we're going to use for the Christmas tree. I am going to also cut this. That way we have less area that we're going to have to fill. And I think this will work. But let's go ahead and get started with the project. I'm anxious to show it to you. So here are the apple rings I was able to salvage. It's not a lot, but I think that I'll be able to decorate the tree in full. If not, I may have to try to take some of those random broken pieces and put them together. But to start this particular project, you're going to take an apple ring. And these apple rings are green on one side and white on the other. There are apple rings that I've used in the past that on the same side were half green, half white. And if you do come across those, that's great. You'll just want to cut so that you have half of one and half of both colors on one ring. So to start, I'm going to go ahead and take the ring and place it on the tree like such. To make sure that it sticks, I'm going to get a stick pin and I'm going to push it through. And you'll do that for both sides. So one piece here and another stick pin. And you're going to kind of keep this as much as the shape of a lowercase u as possible. And another stick pin in there. Now, the next piece that you're going to do or use is going to be right next to it, and you're going to interchange with the white. And I want to make that stick in there. And it's funny because you're working with this candy and your hands will be nice and sticky. I may have to stop periodically to wash my hands just to make sure that it doesn't mess up anything that I'm doing. But as you can see, it's a messy job, but someone has to do it. So here you'll have the rings, and we're going to go all the way around, interchanging green, white, green, white. And then once we're done with one row, we'll start with the next row. And for that row, you'll want to make sure that you have a white ring. And actually, what I've done in the past is overlapped it just a bit, but they're not directly above. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with this, and then I'll stop. I'll stop at the point of doing the next row so that you can see what that looks like. One word of advice. This candy is, as you can tell, is very sticky. My suggestion is that you refrigerate it before you use it, and you may even want to keep it in the fridge, refrigerate it, put it back in the refrigerator at some point if it starts to get really sticky. This is almost like dealing with taffy. So the more that you work it, it becomes more pliable, but it also does get really sticky. So back to the project. Okay, so it's been about an hour, and here we have the candy placed all along the styrofoam. So if your candy starts to get a little tacky because it starts to heat up, just go ahead and stick it in the freezer or the refrigerator for a while. Let it get solid again. That should take that stickiness away. But the next step I'm going to show you is what to do with the beads or the red hot candy. I'm going to place the red hots or the beads in the open space area that you have, and it'll just fill that in, and you can add a little glue to it to affix it. Well, I put mine in and then I start gluing the areas. So I'm also going to show you, oops, there we go. Some of them may pop out, but as you stick them in and glue them afterwards, this should be fine. I've actually used Mod Podge in the past, so I stick these in and then simply Mod Podge them in and don't have a problem with them. If you get a few tricky ones, go ahead and add some glue. You can use regular white glue, or you can use hot glue. So I'm going to go ahead and start sticking these in, and pretty soon we'll see a finished product. So here's our final step. Now I'm going to use a little Mod Podge and brush this on all over the tree. And at this point, or after you've applied the Mod Podge, it's up to you. If you want to add glitter, that'll add a little bit more sheen to the tree. You can also use a little powdered sugar to give the effect of snow. Just one thing, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, that this is not an edible treat. Well, friends, I hope you enjoyed this particular project for Christmas in July. Please join me again next time for Sherry's DIY Secrets. Bye, friends.
See you soon.